cow.
I know.
7 weeks, guys. We've been doing this lunch and learn, and we are back with you. We're excited to be here, and we're excited to talk a little bit more about this whole natural scale your business, how to do it. And so if you can see the title, the fastest way to scale your business, and it may throw you for a curveball. It may be different than what you're thinking when it comes to scale. So many times when we think of scale, we think of we have to bring on all the A players. We got to bring on team. We got to bring on expense. We got to bring on like an office expense so you can host 20 more people in your office. And more people is going to equal to more business. And
don't do anything until you get everybody and everything in the place. All that stuff. Yeah.
So we're going to break this down. Today we have Justin Silverio for the 7th week with me, joining me live from Boston, Massachusetts. And he is going to help us out in some of the areas where he's very, very savvy, understands this is like his jam. This is what he loves to do, talk about, sleep out, like you name it. This guy loves it. He eats, drinks, and sleeps automation, processes, and systems and software. Yeah. So we're glad to have you here, Justin. Give us a little feedback, a little breakdown maybe of who you are, what a little bit of background, and then we'll get going.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Cody, for having me on for 7th week.
7th week.
I know, that's great. So my background, I have been a real estate investor since about 2010, 2011.
Okay.
And my focus primarily was entry-level rehabs. So I started to work a lot with entry-level rehabs. And in my background, even prior to that, is I was an accountant. So I was very much on the numbers, and analysis paralysis is a thing. That hurt me for a little bit until I just said, just get into something. Numbers have to make sense, but don't overthink it. Since 2010, I worked into middle market, high-end renovations, high-end new construction, and now mostly I'm doing high-end condo conversions in the city of Boston, as well as wholesaling outside of the city. That's my investment business. I also started open letter marketing in 2016 because my number one thing when I started was, if I want to make a business out of this, how do I make sure that I am getting consistent deal flow? And I am somebody that does not like to rely on other people. And I said, if I need to make sure that I have my own deal flow, I need to create it. And the best way that I found to do that was direct to seller marketing. And even more specifically, it was direct mail, because direct mail was something that I could get started with right away. It was easily scalable. So if I wanted to send out 100 versus 1,000 versus 10,000, still one click of a button. It's still really easy, and you can outsource it. So direct mail was always something I got started with. And then through the years, I really figured out and I really focused my attention on becoming a better marketer. Yeah. How can I get in front of my competition? How can I do things?
This is the truth about wholesaling in general. I think so many times we get this false reality that we're in the real estate business when in all reality, we're in the marketing business.
So true. It's so true. Like, if you don't have marketing and consistent deal flow, you don't have a business. Like, you can know as much as you want about wholesaling, but number one is figuring out how to find a deal or consistent deals.
That's right.
That's where marketing falls in. So I just spent a lot of time figuring out my marketing and how to improve it, how to test it, how to track it, because I knew that was going to make me successful in the future. And over the years, I did things differently than most people did. When most people were doing yellow letters, 90% plus, because that was what was offered in the market, I was doing everything but yellow letters. And I would I would still do yellow letters to test it. And I would find how much better mine would do because I wanted to know.
Yeah.
And then naturally, I was just getting better and better and had a very good systematic way to go about getting ahead of my competition. And that expanded beyond direct mail. But direct mail is still my number one thing that I push out because it just works so well. So over the years, I saw that there was a huge void in the market for anybody offering anything but yellow letters. And I knew what I had was a better solution. Because I tried and tested it. So then I started open letter marketing in 2016 to start offering these direct mail products. And now we're offering different services, ringless voicemail, skip tracing, And now we have software to make the process for everyone dealing with, and that anybody that does direct to seller marketing, there's always these little things that you have issues with. How do I update my list?
Yes. Like I laugh because this is going to get really quick, guys. How many have had problems? I want you to ask yourself and be honest with yourself when it comes to just direct to seller marketing, whether it's direct mail. How many have had those issues? And I hear this on an actually daily basis, Justin, and people are like, oh man, if I could just have this automated or have a process in place. Like I hate like sending over a list by email to the mail house. And then 2 days later, they get back and say, here's what we have in place. And then you got to prove it. And then you send it over. And then you got to set up another like task within something that allows you to alert you to say, hey, now's the day that you submit your next list to get this going. And we start to have this battle. And then today's the day we pull the list. And today's the day we submit the list. And today's the day we approve the postcard. And this goes on. And I think there's so many people who are like, how do we automate this like direct mail? Like, I love it. I love the results, but I also hate the time it's taking from me.
And that's a big challenge for everyone. Like not just the person that thinks that, oh, this must just be me that's taking so long. It's everyone. And it's hard to see that because sometimes you're siloed away from other investors and stuff like that. But being part of the, REFF and talking to Cody and everybody else, you understand that, it's not just you. Everybody has these things. And even me, when I started out, when I was working full time and still trying to run my investment business, I always needed 1 more hour to do stuff or 2 more hours. I needed to create efficiency in my business. And even now, as my company has grown, I still want efficiency. And even if something takes 10 minutes, you're like, oh, it only takes, 15 minutes a day. I'll add up that 15 minutes over a month, and that's a lot of time. And add up what you could just automate or pay someone $10 an hour to do. It's a lot of time that you could be focusing on value-added stuff that you're really going to produce revenue.
100% true.
Yeah. So were you going to say something?
No, I'd say let's break this bad boy down. I want to see that. So first and foremost, how do you feel about direct mail? Do you like direct mail? Is it still as hot as it ever was? Is it better than it was over the last couple of years? Like, where are you seeing direct mail in general right now before we get to even the automation point?
For myself and the top people that I work with, like the people that are doing 100+ deals a year. Yeah. Direct mail is either their first or second source of revenue. And same with me.
How is it as cost per conversion? Like when we say you send out X amount of mail pieces and it takes X amount of dollars to spend before you get a conversion. Yeah. I too can say it is a top 2 marketing channel, meaning bringing in revenue. And it's also switched back and forth as the top 2 lowest for cost per conversion. What is it for you?
Yeah. For me, as far as all the other marketing activities, it's a little bit higher. However, the way that I layer in, so it's definitely not my highest, and we get most deals from it. I also spend, like, it could cost me anywhere from $6,000 to $9,000 per deal that I get. However, most of the deals that I'm doing in Boston are average wholesale is like $50,000. Could be easily 100,000, and my renovation deals are 6 figures plus. So I'm okay to spend that much money. A lot of other people, their cost is significantly less, but their revenue, the profit that they're making it from less
is less as well.
So it all factors in. Like, those are my numbers, but don't say, holy crap, that's a lot of money. Also, I'm okay because look at how much profit per deal that it is. 50,000, $6,000, $8,000 to make 50,000. I mean, I'll take that all day.
Yeah, it's who wouldn't want to? What times is that? Is that a 7 times, 8 times your money?
Something like that.
So think about that, guys. If you were to sit in front of a slot machine and put in $1 and $7 gets kicked out, who wouldn't sit in front of that slot machine all day long? You'd just be pumping that thing, knowing that you're going to 7 times whatever that investment is. So don't look at his direct cost nor my direct cost. But the fact of the matter is this: direct mail is still working very well. And a lot of times I have found, just from working with a lot of students nationally, is we get to play around with these numbers all the time, where they're coming to me saying, Justin, here's here's this. And I get to work with them on a personal basis. And more times when they say, man, something's not working or it's not working, usually it's the process that's not working. It's not really the direct mail. Usually it's they mail out in 1 week and then they hold off for 3 weeks and they mail out.
That's so true. Yes.
Right. And so there's a process flaw. It's not that the direct mail, it's like saying basketball. If I give someone 10 shots from the free throw line and I give another guy 1 shot, who's more likely to win like 9 times, if not 10 times out of 10? The person that gets 10 shots versus 1 shot. And it's the same thing here is it's not enough attempts. If you're sending out once a month, that's just a process flaw. It's not that the mail was flawed. It was the process was flawed. You sent it out and then you waited for 3 weeks. You need to be sending out mail weekly to see the beauty of what happens with mail.
Yeah. That's absolutely critical. Like just for me, like talking to, thousands of investors across the country in open letter marketing, like newer investors, the biggest thing that we try to help them out with and let them understand is mindset. Coming into whatever you're doing for direct to seller marketing, have the mindset and understanding that it's consistency is like absolutely key.
Yeah.
The last thing that we want to do is have somebody come in and say, I have $1,000 budget and I want to just send it out all in one blast. No, don't do that. That's the wrong way. If you want to, that's really the absolute wrong way to do it. You need to be consistent. You need to understand that consistency is building rapport with the sellers, and through your consistency comes the deals. So we always tell people, like you said, more shots on net, right? You want to at least be doing, I know Cody recommends, 1,000, 2,000 a week. The more
Yeah.
Yes. And do that consistently for at least 4 to 6 months. I guarantee you're going to see such a difference from if you just go and you're not consistent or you stop, you go. Because that was the biggest thing for me when I started is as a solopreneur. Back when I started, once I got a deal, I forgot about my marketing because not that I wanted to, but because I wanted to spend my time and focus on something else.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was so important back then. But after realizing, that you build so much momentum with that marketing, and once you stop, it kills all that.
100%. I always say marketing and sales are the breath, like it's the oxygen of your business. But the other thing is if you don't stay consistent, like there's almost like an equation here. Consistent marketing leads to consistent lead flow, right? Or consistent conversations. Consistent conversations leads to consistent appointments. Consistent appointments leads to consistent contracts. And consistent contracts leads to consistent paydays. Like there's an equation here, but it all begins with that consistent marketing. And that's in any channel. So whether it's direct mail, whether it's pay-per-click, whether it's cold calling, whether it's driving for dollars, if you don't have consistent marketing going out every single week, what happens is you fall off track. Think of, I do podcasts all the time. I'm either on someone's podcast or I'm hosting our own podcast. And I sit there and think about how there was a gap for about 3 weeks. I didn't do a podcast episode, but I've done hundreds, but there was a 3-week gap that I didn't do any. I had some vacations and everything lined up. Well, then I get this podcast and I remember getting on and I always do the intro like, hey guys, welcome to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. This is Cody Hofhine and I do my thing. I got on and I was so out of rhythm. I was just like, hey guys, welcome. Hold on, let's try that again. Hold on, we're going to record that again. And I messed up like 3 times before I got it right because you fall out of rhythm. So could you send out a ton of marketing? Yes, and get a ton of leads, and I'm just going to work those leads for a while. You can, but constant marketing is that's what triggers the constant conversations. Like had I just constantly been doing podcasts, it would have just flowed out just nice and easy. But because there was that break, you come back and you sound like a rookie again. And I've done hundreds of podcast episodes. Same thing happens in your business. You don't send out weekly marketing. You end up breaking that flow. You break that momentum, that traction, that consistent nature of talking to people. And now all of a sudden you sound like a rookie again.
Yeah, it's true. And it's not only from what I find is it's not like people want to stop marketing, but either one or two things happen. They just get pulled in other directions, or they get nervous that they're spending money and not getting a deal yet, right? I see that a lot of time. People just have the mindset like, and they get scared, right? I have to spend money before I even know that I'm going to close a deal.
Yeah.
And after maybe a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks that they're spending money and they haven't closed a deal, they're like, shit, I got to it's not working for me. And they stop they stop way too early. I see that as well. Understand the process works.
Yeah.
The big thing for people is the mindset aspect. Know that you have to spend 3, 4, 6 months consistently, and there's like no question about it. It will work. You just have to be consistent.
Trust the process.
You trust the process. That's it.
Here's the issue, right? We live in a now society, right? I go to the store, I buy a gallon of milk, I get a gallon of milk right now, and I can drink it.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, I can go grab a bag of chips, I can go grab salsa, and I can consume it right now. Where any marketing, it's not just direct mail, pay-per-click, SEO for even longevity, like it's all about the long-term play. Cold calling. It doesn't matter. It's not the first month, the second month, third month. Could you get onesie twosies? Absolutely. Yeah. But if you can get past this right now moment, which I get it, most of us, we live in this like now society. Like I want something, I can go on Amazon and click it on Prime. Now since COVID, it's changed a little bit, but it used to be like next day it's at my house.
Right.
In this now society. And we've got to pull away from this now society and realize that more fruit is enjoyed, the fruits of your labor enjoyed through longevity. It's the one that can it's it's not the, what is it they say with the marathon? The last mile is the least crowded. Like people can sprint, right? They can sprint, but the last mile is the least crowded. Meaning you want to see what victory really feels like, what it really tastes like, go for the long term.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, that's the biggest thing is just, making sure your mindset is set up and you're focused, and don't worry about if you hear other people say, oh, this is working great for me, this is working great. Just stay focused. Pick what you want to do. For myself, Cody, and a lot of other people, direct mail, we love it because it's so easy to automate. Yeah. And we know it works really well. And the strategies that Cody has, as well as what we have on Open Letter through Cody, we know that it works. We know that it works with consistency.
Let's break down how we scale. So we always talk about scaling. We've talked about this for the last 6 weeks, how you've got to have a process in place before you put the team in place. The dream team only becomes the dream team once the process is in place. You got to have a process. You got to have automation. You got to have software. You got to have the flow in place. Once that's in place, you can bring on the team. So what are some of the softwares? What are some of the flows that you can put in place so that you can begin to build that dream team?
Right. So again, going back to what my stumbling blocks were, and thereby what other investors are stumbling with, it's always like lead and marketing management, right? How do I create these lists? How do I know how to market to them or what to market to them? Yeah. If they call me back and say, hey, remove me from the list, how do I make sure they don't get back on my list when I go update new lists? Right? They just obviously they always get back on there.
This is the biggest pain of marketing in general.
You don't know how many times people have said, I thought I told you last month to take me off the list. You keep and I always have to blame them.
Let's be honest. Like, this is where I have to be honest with you, and I hope most people are being honest with you. How many actually just don't remove it because it's such a pain in the butt to do?
Oh my
God. Guilty as charged. When someone calls and like, remove from the list, I'm like, man, to go and find that list and find that list and do that, I think I'll just take another phone call in 6 weeks that he's mad again.
Yeah, exactly. Or like undeliverables, they come back. Now I got to type them in and I got to put them into the list and then I got to remove them. Then I got to skip trace and then add them back to my list.
Meanwhile, the smart people that actually are removing them from the list or have a process in place, they're also tapping into profitability, guys. That's the crazy thing that I had to take years to learn is I was just like, it's not worth the 37 cents to take them off. I'll just mail them again. Guys, you add that up by all the ticked off people that want you removed from the list. Add that up to all the people that are undeliverable. And you can see very quickly, especially as you scale your business and you're no longer just sending out 1,000 pieces, but you're sending out 7,000 pieces or 10,000 pieces every single week. You'll start to see that $5,000, $6,000 in savings every month can very easily take place. You times that by 12 and 50 to 60 grand a year.
Yep.
That's a healthy vacation you can take your team on and
Absolutely.
have a great culture memorable experience.
And that's just on the expense side, reducing the expense side.
That's right.
What about the profitability side? Because most everybody else is doing the same thing and not hitting those people and finding out where they live.
That's right.
But if you're taking that extra step to find out where they live, you have less competition, thereby a better opportunity to get a deal. So now you're increasing your profitability.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. But let's break down the software that allows this. But the other thing is, I had this question pop up, so I have to ask it to you because as you're bringing up the software, you can share your screen and stuff.
Yeah.
Here was one of the things that I thought was brilliant. I have my lead manager that's basically operations manager that would go over and look at profitability. Mm-hmm. And she came to me and she says, Cody, we've been sending out direct mail to the whole state of Utah. Like we've been adding all this to places. But here's the thing. We have spent now, and it was something crazy. It was like $32,000 over the course of years that we'd spent into a couple different zip codes that we had never netted a deal ever. And she's like, we've been doing this for 3 years. We've never done a deal in these 2 zip codes. And we've spent over $30,000. Like, why don't we kill this zip code? So knowing stuff like that. Now, when I ask this question, is that stuff that also could be automated versus you're going in there now sifting through like I always say CVS, but CSV file, and skip trace or finding the zip codes, removing them from a list, then upload new list. Like, how can you automate even things like that?
Automate things like identifying.
Not automate, but at least make it a smoother process than what I just explained.
As far as identifying that you haven't
not identifying, removing. I want to remove all zip codes 84123.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can show you how to do that in here. It's super easy. So this is OLM Investor Hub, right? We created the systems to solve.
Is it possible to bring that over more to it'd be our left, but yes, and then zoom in a little bit.
Okay, hold on. I'm moving my screen around. Let me zoom in. Is that better?
Yeah.
Good?
Yep.
Cool. All right. So OLM Investor Hub solves the issue of managing leads, taking people off the list, creating a marketing plan, and making sure you stick to it and you're consistent.
Yeah.
This system also allows you to get more information on your leads. So let's just talk about before. You're marketing to people, you're doing all this stuff. Yes, you still have, before this system, you still have the issues of removing people off your list. But now let's say you want to get to the next level and wipe that stuff away and make it much easier for you. This system will allow you to do automate a lot of that stuff and also make you much more efficient with your marketing. Yeah. And what I mean about that is when you put your leads into the system, you can identify what lists are higher quality than others. And as you import leads into this list, it's also going to stack the leads for you. So it will say, this lead is on a deceased list, a probate list, driving for dollars list. So now if it's on those 3 lists, that's a much better quality lead for me than just an equity lead. Okay, so
By the way, guys, real quick, what he's talking about is found in this openlettermarketing.com/REFF. That's that portal that you can access. This is the software we switched over to because it just served our company at a higher level. If you have questions or want to learn more, that's the portal, but that also gives you all of my own pricing that I pay for my own stuff with Justin as well. So yeah. Awesome stuff. This is where he's talking about. This Investor Hub is in this portal.
Yeah. So the magic
leads.
What's that?
You were talking about quality of leads.
Yeah. So most investors, right, they spend 100% of their marketing budget evenly across all of their leads. So when you start to look at that and say, how can I become more efficient? And it's not that people don't want to become more efficient. They just don't know how or think it's complicated to do it.
Yeah.
But this system allows you to do it. So now you're spending your money much more wisely. So when you import your lists into the system, you're tagging them as high quality, medium quality, low quality. And if you don't know what they are because you're new, we have recommended quality, like list quality for the different lead types.
Yeah.
So now, even though I have 19,000 leads in here, I only have 3,000 high quality. So, and then I have 9,000 low quality. So just imagine if I spent all of my marketing budget evenly across here to all of my leads, to all 19,000, like there's, 2/3 are my low quality.
Yeah.
So I don't want to spend as much money on the low quality that I do on the high quality.
Definition of insanity, right?
Absolutely. So now, like,
same thing over and over again, getting the same results. Like, this is why most people will tell you direct mail or any marketing channel. I'll talk to people like, oh man, pay-per-click is not that great. And I'm like, jeez, we're nailing it with pay-per-click, or direct mail's not good. And I'm like, jeez, we're doing well with direct mail. But it's because we also know where to spend our efforts and where we should spend the majority of our marketing dollars.
Yeah. And this system is developed for all direct-to-seller marketing. It's not just direct mail, but it's not just direct mail, all direct-to-seller marketing. So you can see, I have direct mail, ringless voicemail, text messaging, email.
And you can control all those different marketing channels from Investor Hub, is what you're saying.
From Investor Hub, yes. So you can't fulfill everything. However, I'll show you how it works. So it still is very easy.
Yeah.
So with that, now that I understand, like, what are my high, medium, and quality leads, I can break them out accordingly. So now I know I have 3,700 high quality, 6,000 low quality that happen to be on this batch.
Yep.
And then 5,000 medium quality. So now I can develop different marketing strategies for each different lead type, like the batches.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do a lot more marketing activities up here for these high quality leads than my low quality leads. I might just spend, shoot them a text message, which is pretty cheap, or send them a postcard, but really do direct mail, then ringless voicemail, then text message, then email, then ringless voicemail, right? You can stack and layer.
For a ringless voicemail or text message, or maybe even just an email.
Right. Yeah. So right now, through this system, you can fulfill direct mail, right? You can fulfill direct mail, come into fulfillment. You can pick your postcard or letter, and you can execute, and it automates it for you.
And does the tribe get my pricing through Investor Hub? If they have Investor Hub, they get my pricing on the direct mail?
Yes, sir. Yes,
That's
sir.
awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Not only that, but some instances like letters, depending on how much they send out, in some brackets, if they do like 200 or 500, it's actually cheaper to fill it in Investor Hub than it is on our website, because of the way that we had to create the plans. There was a lot behind why, but it just happens that it works out. So they'll actually save money by getting Investor Hub, because when they fulfill direct mail.
Because the price is better in there, you're saying.
Yep. So
okay.
In the future, this is the first time I'm telling you too, we are currently working on development of ringless voicemail from right within the system. After that, we're going to work on text messaging right from the system.
Okay. And so this is an ongoing build out process that you're trying to get ultimately all your channels ran through this.
I want this simplistic, so somebody can be like, all right, I just want these to execute on these days. I want it to fly. So again, I want people to be consistent, and the easier way that I can make them do that, I want to try to do that.
Yeah.
So even still, like exporting for ringless voicemail, you click on here and just click on export, and just export, and all your leads come out. The other great feature about this marketing activity, it's not that you just can look at it and it'll give you a good dashboard.
Yeah.
It's also smart enough to know if you take people off your list. So let's say that I just sent out ringless voicemail and 5 people called in and said, remove me from your list, right? Let me just go back, I'll show you. So text messaging, you can see there's 3,715 leads. Same with email, same with the ringless voicemail, same with postcards. Okay. So let's say that 5 people say, take me off your list. So you're going to go through, remove from list, do not contact. Let's go to marketing activities. They just dropped by 5, right? Those leads just fell off. So now when you execute future marketing activities, you don't even have to worry about them getting back on those marketing activities. But if
is there something like, let's say, let's say for the small few, because change takes place, right? Like think of COVID-19, how much change took place in the market.
Yep.
Someone saying no today or removed from your list today could be a yes in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Do you typically remove them and they're gone, or do you put them to a different list that like maybe 6 months we send them a different, like another voicemail at that point or a text at that point? Like what's the typical strategy you use?
Yeah, good question. Here's what I do. If people are calling me up and they're swearing and say, I'll never sell to you, whatever it is, call me bad names, whatever, I will remove them from the list. And they don't get removed from my whole system. They get pushed into this removed leads list.
Okay.
So they're still in my system. They're just on a sub database.
Okay.
Because when I refresh my list, I don't want them to get back into my active leads.
Yeah.
The system is smart enough to say, oh, this property, they're already in the system and you want it to be removed, so we're going to keep it in here.
Yeah.
However, if people call and they say, yeah, I'm not really looking to sell now, maybe in a year or a couple months, for those types of people, I will put them into my CRM system.
Yeah.
Because,
and now it's pulled off the list anyways.
Yes. So the way that this in Investor Hub, and a lot of people have some confusion on what's Investor Hub and how does it work with the CRM? How do they integrate together? And if I can, this is the portal, Cody's portal. If you scroll down, you can look at this little infographic. So, and this is a really critical aspect to understand.
Yeah.
So OLM Investor Hub, right? Let's talk about the whole marketing and sales life cycle of an investor. You create the lists, you start to define the list and who you want to market, you create the marketing strategy, you execute the marketing. Okay, all of that, what I just said, is Investor Hub. You can do all of that in Investor Hub. Then once you have contact with a prospect, now they come into your CRM, which is our OLM deal flow.
Yeah.
And then in the CRM, you can create follow-up sequences, automations, you can track calls, you can record all the calls, and you take that person through to closing.
Yeah.
So that's what the CRM does.
Essentially, those two softwares between Investor Hub and then your CRM, which uniquely talk to each other.
Yes.
So that whatever's going on over here can be known over here. So if you want someone taken out of your CRM and put back into mail because you've lost contact with them, so you want more of an automated way to do it, you can send them out of there, send them back over to Investor Hub, they be put in your mail campaign, or vice versa. Yep. Take them out of the mail campaign, send them over to your CRM, and now you're saving money by not mailing to them, but now you're working the lead through the CRM.
Yep, and I'll just show people very quickly because I already had this set up. So you can see on my active leads, I have one Baldwin, Wilmington, Mass. And then I go into my CRM. So let's say they call me and they say, yeah, I'm interested in selling. You're talking to them. Now you're talking to them and now they're in your CRM. You log them in because you want to make sure they're in your CRM because that's the follow-up system that you investors are using.
Yep.
So now you are, flagging this status as initial call or whatever it is, whatever the status is, research the lead, follow up later, whatever it is. You have their property address as a new lead and you sent a status of initial call. Now, because our CRM talks to Investor Hub, let's go back and I'm going to refresh.
Hey, quick question. Here's a question. If you see that screen.
Yep.
Investor Hub, does it allow you to build and stack lists? I think this guy just barely hopped on.
Yep. 100%. It does. Yes. Yes.
That is true. So that's all part of the software, which is nice. When you upload all your list, it's going through and sifting through and finding all the ones that are on multiple lists and stacking it for you, saying, hey, this is a super lead.
Yeah. And it's funny because a lot of people will ask that and be like, oh, this is a great list stacking software. And then once they get into it, they're like, holy crap, it's so much more than that. Because
I know Bob Antoni, and I just spoke to him yesterday, I believe, and even like Brian. These guys, they're like, man, I thought this was cool because I was doing this. And then I found out I did this. And then I found out I did this. And it was just fun talking to them because what they originally purchased for and is already worth it for them. Then they're like, I realized that there was like 10 more options that I didn't know about that are like, oh my gosh, This is so great.
And I love that too, because a lot of people don't know what they need until they see it. And then they're like, holy crap, that is amazing for what I was doing. I didn't even know I needed something like this. And it's so cool. But now you can see, so I just refreshed my screen, my active leads. That address now disappeared. That address is now in the removed leads page. If I scroll down here, 1 Baldwin, Wilmington, if I go to history, you can see now it's working lead. It just changed the status. So it got kicked off the active leads. It's now in removed leads. It got removed off active marketing activities, all future marketing activities. So this person's not getting hit anymore with my future marketing activities because I'm now following up with them through my CRM.
Yeah.
But we know that people go dark and will ghost you. So you can always click on add back to marketing, and it will, now if I go back to the leads, active leads page, you'll see that now it's here. And I click on this, and now it's back to active status. So now it's back on your future marketing activities.
So guys, think of that. Think of like how great it would be if all you had to do is just work within these 2 platforms, period, the end. I think at the very beginning, Justin, I was in so many different softwares and platforms that I'd have to log in, and I'm like, thank goodness for Mac for being able to remember my passwords because I was in softwares like crazy in a bunch of them. This is nice. Like, it's just talking back and forth to each other. Like, you want to do it, you just click it, it sends it over. It's not a physical process where, okay, well, I'm going to take it now from the CRM and I'm going to drag it over to this. It's like, click a button, it's done. How much time is that saving you versus dragging or copying and pasting and doing all that stuff? It's just a simple process. And so that's one thing we're talking about when it comes to automation. What it does ultimately is free up time. And I want you to think about this, guys. And I would love for you guys to chime in. In fact, if you have questions, we'll take questions. Like, we love your questions.
Yeah, please.
But I really want you to know this. Like, be honest with yourself. In fact, if you're honest with yourself and you're like, I'm here, like, I want you to type down, I'm here, because I want you to understand this. Many people got into real estate because they wanted the time back. I get to talk to people on a daily basis. In fact, if you go into REI Freedom's Facebook page, if you go into my Facebook page, which is Real Estate Freedom Formula, if you go into Wholesaling Houses Full Time, I did a post. I basically said, what was the reason you got into real estate? And for me, it was, at the end of the day, it was like I was sick of living paycheck to paycheck. It was hard for me. And a guy chimed in and he said, yeah, but real estate doesn't fix paycheck to paycheck. Financial literacy does. Although very, very true, financial literacy was not why I got into real estate. It was, I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I already had this dream or this belief that real estate could fix it. So although true, that was the reason. But many people, Justin, if you go through those posts, you'll see freedom, and then you'll be like freedom of time, freedom of money, freedom of location, freedom of like time. This gives you your time back.
Yes.
No more wasting those extra minutes. And sometimes we justify, well, Justin, it was only like 3 or 4 minutes here, or it was only 3 or 4 minutes here. You times that up over a week, over a month, over a year. You may find out that you're going to gain 2 or 3 weeks of vacation time that you were given away to these little 2, 3, 4 minute add ups. And now it's, oh my gosh, what would you do if you were given, instead of 52 weeks, 55 weeks in a year? Yeah, that'd be pretty dang impressive.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. And this is getting set up on a system that keeps you efficient, marketing efficiently, and also saving more money for you, right? You're not spending just the same amount of money for every single lead, focusing on the right stuff, focusing your time and energy and money. You're going to become more efficient than just about most all investors. And that's really where the beauty of this system works, and why I'm so excited about it. I know it helps so many people, is because it does so many things that most investors don't do. And I just had a conversation a couple of days ago. It was either yesterday or Friday. But this investment company, they do over 200 deals a year.
Yeah.
And tens of thousands of dollars in marketing a month. And they don't have a good process on how to create marketing and all that. And we went through Investor Hub, and they're like, this is going to be like absolutely game changing for us. This is huge. So knowing that there's a system, and this platform is creating such a huge solution that a lot of people don't even recognize that they need. Yeah. Right out of the gate, you're going to be so many steps ahead of just about everyone.
And this is the foundation before you bring on a team, guys. I think that's the crucial point that I have to make sure that you understand. You can't bring on a team until you have a process in place, until you have a system in place. Don't ever try to scale your business with team before you scale it with processes, without automation. That is the foundation work. You want a team that comes in and just thrives. Make sure a process is in place. Make sure that you're setting them up to win so that they're not wasting these minutes, these hours throughout the year, that they're not wasting these same exact minutes that you were wasting. Kill those right now while it's just you, whether you're a solopreneur or you already have a team. Like, it's time. It's time to get your time back.
Yeah.
But more importantly, bless your future team or your current team to have time back so they can go out there and do money producing activities. This is crucial. This is where most people fail, is they're not out there doing the money making activities. Although the activities are important, it's not important that they do them.
Yep.
Let the software do this for you, which is crucial.
Right. Absolutely. And that's a big point that you said, is create the process, create an efficient process before you hire. Screenshot it, record it, document it, whatever you want, because if you have an inefficient process, you will have a lot more breakdowns in the chain as you start to add more people in. And the stuff that can happen when you grow too big before you have a good process is going to just be compounded by the number of people and what happens down the line.
Yeah,
and you can do it. You can save all that time and energy if you do it ahead of time.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Well, Justin, anything else that you want to share in wrapping this up, and about just how automation helps you grow and scale your business?
Yeah, I mean, just aside from the automation stuff, just understand consistency is key. For those that are new or those that are just starting out, whatever you're doing, just be consistent with it. That is just paramount to anything else. You can send the worst mail piece, text message, whatever it is, but if you are consistent, you're going to get more deals than you would if you did nothing. I can guarantee that.
100% true. 100% true.
Yeah.
The person that takes imperfect action is still miles ahead of the person taking no action at all.
Yep.
So echo that as well. So guys, to learn more, just remember, head on over to openlettermarketing.com/REFF, and you can learn more through that portal. You'll get all of my pricing. He's done that for my community, my tribe, for you guys. And that's where you'll learn about Investor Hub, how it can help you. What was the cost breakdown again? If it was, because if you order direct mail, guys, he's the mail house. Like, he is the one that can tie this all in. So if you use Investor Hub, use him as the mail house, because you'll get better pricing. But if you do it through Investor Hub, essentially your pricing, my pricing through Investor Hub, is cheaper than just ordering directly through you. What is the cost breakdown? If they send out X amount of mailers a month, it would already pay for Investor Hub, for example.
So with Investor Hub for letters, postcards are a little bit different. It might be more in line, but with letters, I believe, let me just click on letters. I think like the lowest bracket C is $1. Yeah. But I think it starts at maybe 80 something cents or 90. I forget how much you're saving, 80 cents maybe. So basically the equivalent is if you fulfill 1,300 mailers in OLM Investor Hub, you're at such a cheaper cost in Investor Hub to placing the order on the website that you're paying yourself off the $159 that it cost you for the program on a monthly basis.
I love it. I love it. So guys, there's a way to already make sense. So if you're sending more than 1,300 mailers out in a month, you're already getting that cost for that.
The postcards are a little bit more in line with the cost on both sides, but again, they're getting your pricing, and they're also getting your strategies. We've created videos and outline everything. And if you ever need help, which a lot of people use this chat function, if you are ever confused, use this chat function. My team, my marketing specialist.
It's like 50 seconds, I think, is the longest wait time.
It was 50 something seconds. On average, but they're really good. They know all the strategies. They just aren't going to push you to say, "Oh, buy this product." They understand strategy from a real estate investor perspective, because they know my investment business.
Yep.
But they know everything that I do. They can help you out with strategy. They're really, really good.
Awesome. Well, Justin, Thank you so much for being with us. This is week number 7, guys. I hope you've enjoyed your time during our Lunch and Learn to just learn some more about just automation. I know it's a topic that some of like the A personalities are like, I just want to go out there and get deals. I just want to talk to more sellers. But this is a very necessary conversation to be having so that you can grow your business properly. Mm-hmm. You don't want to stay stuck at doing the 1 or 2 or 3 deals a month. And you don't always want to be the one stuck being the solopreneur, always have to wear all the hats.
Yes.
If you want to grow to doing many deals each month, grow to where you have a team in place, you're going to need these softwares in place. So if you're like me, personality, sometimes you hear this, you're like, oh, I don't know, just talk to someone that understands this a lot better and just on my team that implements this. I get it. I'm that same personality, but I'm grateful I have a team that is now up and on this and that I've learned this and that we met Justin and I introduced him to the team and we could start working on this automation, these softwares and systems, because they're helping us be more profitable each and every day. And that's what each and every one of us want. The more profitability we are, the more fun you can go have. I'm not saying like go get Lamborghinis, go do what you want with your money. But for me, I get to serve people at a higher level when more income is coming in. I get to serve my team at a higher level. We get to have more experiences, whether that's vacation, going to Lake Powell, by the way, which I'm telling you, Justin, we got to get you out on the Powell boat.
I want to get out there.
But ultimately, you can serve a lot of people. So get out there, get out of your own way, get these systems and softwares in place. Go take a look at it right there at openletter.com/REFF to go learn more. Thank you, Justin, again.
Thank you, Cody. Appreciate it, man.
Take care, guys.